we'll get started in just like another minute. I guess while everyone's waiting, if you want to just take a look at the meeting minutes from the last meeting so we can approve those. So if you want to like look over them now, that might be helpful until we wait for everyone to get here.
Yeah, in I think it was 3C3, 3C. Hold on, I have to get where I have it here. On 3C, audit will serve, not server, to establish the energy consumption.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
Just happened to notice that detail typo.
Okay. Thank you. Oops.
Carol, I'll make any minor changes like that as.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Thanks,
All right.
David.
Thank you. All right, I'll just wait one more minute and then we'll get started.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Wayne. Hey, we're just going to get started in a minute, so I'm glad you're here. Okay, it's about 2:02, and it looks like we have quorum now. Anyway, Elaine, did you want to say any words before we get started?
Oh, hello, everyone. It's great to see everyone again. All kinds of good stuff happening, so thanks for being here.
Thanks, Elaine. Well, I hope everyone is doing well, and I will share my screen so I can pull up the agenda. Okay, so to start things off, we want to do something interesting today that we haven't done before. And so I'd like us to introduce ourselves again, just because there are so many of us involved in this. And in addition to introducing yourself, please also share your favorite thing about Delaware County. What's your favorite thing about Delaware County? Let's see, how about we start with Ed McGargy. I don't know, Ed, if you're muted. I can't see everybody at the same time. Let's see. Oh, you're still muted, Ed. Oh, there you go.
I have the two screens up and I try to get my cursor over there. Yep, Ed McGargy. I'm with the Delaware County Conservation District. I served as the manager of that department and have a volunteer board of directors that provides guidance and direction for me. As for Delaware County, I've been employed here now for 40 years, and it has been a very exciting place to work. We have lots of opportunities here, and we have lots of challenges. And it's been it is exciting to work on the development with in Delaware County, because nothing is easy. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Now, can I ask you, do you have something that's your favorite thing just about Delaware County in general, not necessarily your employment, but
in general, I think it's I love the opportunity to be so close to Philadelphia, but to be outside of it. There's opportunities when the climate is right and the COVID is right, so that we can go in and experience the things that a large city would have to offer, but still be enjoyable out here, where it's a little bit less crime problems and less crowding and less traffic problems.
Oh, thank you, Ed. I thought that was really great. How about Ed Hudak next? He's the Director of Motor Vehicle Management. He's here as a guest today. He'll have actually a part in the reporting of something on the agenda. But anyway, would you like to go next, Brian?
Good afternoon, Brian Hudak, actually. I've been a
Hudak.
director of motor vehicles for almost 10 years. I'm going to talk about the electric vehicle program that council and the executive director would like the county to be involved in. And I guess my favorite thing about Delaware County is the area, number one, but I think the variety of people, the different kinds of people from all over. Going to a Catholic school and meeting people from every end of the county. There's definitely a wide array of people. So I think it's the people that make Delaware County.
Oh, thanks. That's great. How about John Becht? John, are you there? Or did he disconnect? Oh, no, he's still there. John, you're muted, though.
I think he's IT. I think
Oh, he's IT. I'm sorry. He is IT. Thank you. It's still nice to hear from him, though. So if you want to say something, John, you can. How about Francine?
Hi, so I am here today because, yeah.
Yes, yes,
I'm
please do.
fortunate. Yeah, I'm really honored to be here today. I guess it's on the agenda why I'm here. So yeah, the CSO position, I'm so honored to receive that. And I am really looking forward to serving Delaware County. My favorite thing about Delaware County right now at this point is that my sister has lived here for 10 years in Aston, and I just love coming to her house. She has an in-ground swimming pool. So that pool is actually my favorite thing in Delaware County at this point, and I know it will grow from there.
Yes, you'll have lots of favorite things.
I'm sure. I've been driving around. I've been doing a lot of visits to different neighborhoods and different areas. I visited the government center there. It's just, media is beautiful. I love the town right around the government center and the courthouse. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Francine. How about David, Director?
Well, I'm a community member of the organization here. I've been involved in energy efficiency and sustainability for pretty much my whole life, even though I mostly worked in software. But it's been a passion of mine ever since I was a kid. And I grew up right here in Delaware County in Drexel Hill. We moved to Drexel Hill when I was 8 years old. And it's always been home. It's always been familiar. And that's what I like about Delaware County. It's home.
Oh, thanks. That's a great answer. Sean?
Hi, everyone. Sean Sansel, community member. My career is in the energy efficiency and renewable energy industry. So the company designs and implements energy efficiency projects. I've lived in Delaware County just a little over 3 years now, so relatively new. But it didn't take long to realize that this is the place where my kids are going to grow up. So we're not leaving anytime soon. To me, it's the outdoor recreation. We do a lot of hiking and a lot of outdoor activities, and we can always find a new park, new trail, something, new place to explore. And
Nice.
Francine, I live in Rose Valley, and it's an area you should check out. It's very close to Aston. Yeah.
Okay, Rose Valley.
Elaine?
Elaine Schaefer, I'm on County Council, and my favorite thing about Delaware County would have to be the trails. And actually, my favorite trail is not even a county trail, it's the state Ridley Creek State Park Trail.
Nice. Scott?
Hi, I'm Scott Sidlow. I'm a BPI building analyst and a resident certified HERS rater. And I work for Top Build Home Services professionally. I'm a member of Parkside Borough Council. And my favorite thing about Delco is about Delaware County is how we refer to ourselves as Delco. It's a very unique way of referring to ourselves, and like, Montco means the Montgomery County Community College. It doesn't mean the place where we're from, right? It's just Delco. It's just, I don't know. It's a cool way that we refer to our place of being and sense of self. So
It's nice.
what I like.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark Manfred.
Good afternoon, Mark Manfred, Director of Parks and Rec for Delaware County, Temple graduate. My favorite thing about Delaware County is the proximity to the city. I grew up in Upper Darby, and I was a stone's throw away from the city. Love the city. And in Delaware County, there's a lot of opportunities to get involved with various organizations as volunteers. I'm also the president of the Police Athletic League Upper Darby, and organizations like that I think is all about Delco. And, I'm very proud to be a part of those organizations. And that's my favorite thing about Delco.
Thanks. Did you go to Upper Darby High School?
No, I went to Bonner.
Oh, okay.
I
went
grew
to
up
Upper
I grew
Darby.
up in the Stonehurst section of Upper Darby, and the bottom of my street was Cobb's Creek Park. And, we had the city and a little bit of the trail life back in the 70s. It was great.
Oh, neat.
Errol, I went to Upper Darby.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool. You're a fellow Upper Darby grad. Cool. Stephanie?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Hassanali, and I am an epidemiologist with the Pennsylvania Department of Health in the Environmental Health Division. And I am originally from Minnesota, but I've spent the majority of my adult life in Pennsylvania and lived in 4 different places in the state. I moved to Springfield in 2019. So it's been like a year and a half. And my favorite thing is having a yard and a space to have the kids play. We moved out of Philly like in the nick of time for the pandemic. And I can't imagine our like tiny little 8x8 backyard during this time. So.
Oh, nice. Laura?
Hi, Laura Goodrich, Economic Development for Delaware County for the last 20 years. Probably my favorite thing about Delaware County is diversity on several different levels and the cool assets that exist in pockets that nobody knows about. The difference in neighborhoods and almost the parochial sort of sense of where you're from within this county. And Scott, I agree with you on the Delco front, the sort of Delco branding. I wasn't sure if you're aware Chesco's trying to do the same thing, and it just doesn't click the same way at all. You just want to turn around and say like, no, don't even try, you can't come close. But they are apparently trying to come up with a Chesco brand, just so you're aware.
Thanks, Laura. Steve?
Hi, I'm Steve Clark. I live in Haverford, or Havertown, actually. My wife and I've been here for over 20 years, and I'm an engineer, energy efficiency engineer, and that's what I do for my day job. My favorite thing about Delco is, like other people are saying, these little quirks. My wife, we're trying to do the accent. I think we can't quite get the accent yet, but I find that kind of pretty cool. And also the strange allegiance to Wawa. I didn't really get how, like, the devotion to it until like last week. My wife and daughter and we walked to Wawa, and it was like one of the most fun things because there was really nothing else to do now. But so now maybe I'm being converted on that front too. So.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Jenny?
Hi, Jenny Sachs. I am a community member, and my favorite thing about Delco are the hidden gems. The fact that I've lived in the county for 15 or 16 years, and like I'm still finding new things, or new things keep evolving, and I keep finding them. So that's I think that's a really unique aspect and something that I really enjoy.
Oh, thanks, Jenny. Becca? Or wait, is Becca's?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. So the first, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I am the assistant manager of Bethel Township, which is at the very bottom of Delco. So I'm a lifer. I've been here for 25 years. And my favorite thing about Delaware County is definitely how much history is here. I feel like as a county, there's so much history, but also each individual municipality has their own history, and most people are very prideful and recognize that as a part of their sense of being. So I think that's really cool and unique to this area.
Thanks, Becca. Jacqueline?
Jacqueline Rhodes, I'm a public member. I do a lot of volunteering and serving on boards in Delaware County. And Ed McGargy stole my answer. I grew up in the city, born and raised in Philadelphia. So for me, it was nice moving just outside the city, having that connection, having an older ring suburb that has sidewalks and you can actually walk to different places. I'm in Norwood. So I think that's my favorite part.
Linda?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Linda Hill. I'm the director of the County Planning and Housing and Community Development Offices. I guess I am also a Delco lifer. Lived all my life in Delaware County, except for the 4 years of college where I strayed all the way to Chester County. I think the thing that I like most about Delaware County that keeps me in Delaware County is diversity. The diversity of the people. We have all, races and ethnicities, and also the diversity of the land here. We have the urban character of the mature neighborhoods in the eastern part of the county. And then we have the more rural areas in the western part of the county out near Chadds Ford and Thornbury Townships. So I would say the diversity overall of Delaware County is what keeps me here.
Linda. Laura?
Unless there's two
Oh,
of
I'm
us.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did do you already. I'm sorry. Wait. I got confused because like your video wasn't on. So I'm sorry. Did I miss anybody? Okay. I guess I'll end with mine. I'm Carol Martzoff. I'm a civil engineer. I'm also chief learning officer for my company too. And I've also lived in Delco like my whole life. And my daughter Catherine, she's 25. She also lived in Delco her whole life so far. And my favorite thing about Delaware County is I think like all of the great parks that are nearby. I love the outdoors and I love walking and running, and I just love all the parks. Like I can like think of a handful of them that they're out, it's not too far. Like you can like get to them pretty easily too. So okay, super. I'll share my screen again. Okay, so now I'd like to ask if there is any public comment. And I guess, Elaine, do we have to announce like how people can do public comment?
Yeah, I would announce the web address. And I actually have access to it, so I can see whether it's coming in or not.
What is the address? I don't.
Public comment at co.delaware.pa.us.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I didn't get this. Wait, I thought it would be helpful if I typed it out for people to see, but public comment what?
Public comment at co.delaware.pa.us.
Okay, thank you. Just in case that's helpful for people to see. Okay. All right. Is there any public comment?
There is not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Next, approval of the meeting minutes from the December meeting. Here they are on the screen.
I make a motion we approve those minutes as revised.
Great. Thanks, Ed.
I'll second.
And who is that? I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Jenny.
Oh, thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any disapproval? Any abstain? Okay, so moved. Our meeting minutes from December are approved. And thank you to Sean for doing the meeting minutes for this meeting and for doing the minutes from the last one too. And it was just that one change from David Director. Number 3, update on the electric vehicle grant that the county applied for. So we have Brian here to talk about that.
So as far as the grant goes with the state, we have not heard back from on the grant. It may be another month or so, just because I don't believe that the whole office is in. Just like everybody else, there's some hybrid offices. So we haven't heard anything back on the grant that we applied for. I did start the process of having the chargers installed. Public Works is working on that right now. They gave me a time frame, is if everything gets approved by council, everything works out with co-stars, everything gets delivered as far as the parts, and there was no issues with installation. We could possibly have the chargers in the 3 locations by the beginning of March. I have the 15 electric vehicles on the agenda for this coming week. If council approves them, they should be in within 60 to 90 days. There was a little bit of a hiccup with GM. They all of the sudden cut the ordering deadline off about a month and a half short. The ordering deadline for these vehicles was supposed to be February 1st. In the end of December, they just turned around and said, we're cutting it off one day. Due to the good relationship we have with one of the dealers that I buy a lot of stuff from, he's actually found a couple dealerships that have ordered some stock units. So the 15 units that we want to purchase for the county to start this program should be available if I get the approval for them. Long term, I'm thinking hopefully have the vehicles on the road and my guys familiar with them and the departments that are going to use them familiar with them and using them by hopefully April if they come in at, on time. This grant was applied for it was an AFIG grant through the state, Alternative Fuel Incentive Grant. This opens up twice a year. So if everything goes well and I can get these cars on the road by April and everything seems to work okay, I'm going to try and put in a grant for additional funding for additional vehicles and additional charging stations at other county locations. And I believe that grant period opens up in May. So like I said, if everything works out and I can get these cars on and I can show the state that we've been using them and it's working out, then I'm going to try and apply for another grant from AFIG to further this process. The goal of the next 15 years, having everything electric in the county. Right now, there's not necessarily a solution for every need that the county has in every department. And I don't believe we can sacrifice services just to change vehicles to electric. So, but in doing the research and reading up on everything, there's a lot of stuff coming out in the next year to 3 years that may fit the county needs where we don't have that option right now. So this is going to be a constant paying attention. Technology changes. We want to try and stay up with the latest technology because it's a very expensive deal that we're getting into. And then hopefully, like I said, this grant is, if it's approved by the state, will offset some of the costs. Right now, just for sake of what we did with the grant, the vehicles that I priced out are $30,000 or $40,000 vehicles. They're Chevy Bolts. Through the co-stars program, the discount that the dealership can give me is about $11,000, which brings them down to $29,000. If this grant is approved, the maximum I can get per vehicle for changing these over is $7,500 per vehicle. So if you include all the discounts, we'll be buying these bolts for about $21,000 or $22,000, which is just a little bit more than what a gasoline car costs. So with the discount from the co-stars, with the grant, if it gets approved, we're going to be purchasing the vehicles for about the same as what a gasoline vehicle costs.
That's great. I have a question in regards to the second potential grant. Is it possible that with this grant to put charging stations on street locations?
I don't know. I don't know enough about.
Jacqueline, I can, the county is very committed to our entire fleet becoming electric, but also investing in infrastructure all over our county. And we are currently talking to some partners about a pretty massive infrastructure investment and incentivizing all of our institutional neighbors, our school districts, our corporations to, follow suit. We're trying to get out there first, set the example, put in some of this infrastructure, but it is a priority and will be a priority for us to set up infrastructure all over. Because as you know, in many parts of our county, for individuals, they don't have a garage to put a charging station in. So we have to plan, over the next decade to have places, if you're parking your car on the street at night, where are you charging? If you're working at a school, maybe you're charging during the day. If you're working at, so we are talking with some partners to really do a very encompassing and comprehensive over the next 5 to 10 years sort of installation and changing this industry over so that it's available everywhere.
Wonderful. And I'm sure others know I've seen street charging stations in like Lancaster, and I think it was York or something like that. And I'm also curious, does that one of the partners include SEPTA for like their stations for the regional rail lines?
Well, I think that any institutional user or any institution will be in our sites to become part of this project, where they have people parking, during the day.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brian?
Yes,
Hi, Brian. Go ahead, Ed.
I'm sorry. Brian, I thought I read in the handout that these charging stations were like $71,000. Are these solar powered, or you just hook up to electrical?
No, originally when I first started this, I found a company that had mobile solar chargers. Now dealing with EPACT, who helped us write the grant, and they provided a lot of information on the electric vehicles. They were saying that they're very expensive. They were about $165,000, which is originally what I went to council with. I wasn't very familiar with any of this technology. I'll be honest with you, I'm a car guy. I've ran a gas station since I was 18 years old. So, I'm a tinkerer. I like to work on cars. I never really got into the electric thing until the executive director said this is going to be a goal. So I said, then I'll learn what I can about it. So I still have a lot to learn. That sounded like a good idea because you could move them around. They were good in emergencies. People could plug their phones in. It was a solar array that fits into a parking spot with two plugs. after I did the research and finding out some other places that have used them, it wouldn't have enough power. Those mobile units would not have enough power to charge our vehicles, let alone anyone else. And then you're dealing with the sun. It doesn't have enough storage storage capacity to be left there, and we wouldn't be able to rely on it. I had originally wanted 2 of those for about $330,000, which would be about $165,000 if we get the 50% from the grant. And I was told that they wouldn't work for what we need. So we went with stationary chargers instead, which is a lot cheaper to install and more dependable. They'll work off the grid, and they're always live. So we went away from the solar panel chargers. That may be something we will discuss later on. We've even discussed possibly doing something with the empty parking lot and doing something like the Link has with the solar panels in the parking lot, and have chargers, connected underneath for people in the borough, immediate borough, people that come to the courthouse. There again, it's all a matter of if we can get that power from those solar panels, to charge these vehicles, to actually, to make it worthwhile. But no, we went away from the solar powered because they were too expensive and they weren't going to do the job we needed it to do.
Okay. But 71,000?
71,000, that includes 6 chargers and the installation at 3 different locations, with room to add chargers in the future. So we're going to have two chargers at 3 locations. Both chargers have 2 plugs, so we'll be able to charge 4 vehicles at each location. They all won't need to be charged at the same time with the range of the vehicles that we're getting. But when we have these installed, we're going to have them installed with extra conduit and things, and that way, if we decide we need more chargers, technology changes, and we can get faster chargers, we can add them very easily. So the 71,000 includes the cost of the chargers, the installations, ballards, safety ballards, and some signage.
Brian, I would assume that the bulk of those costs are the installation rather than the chargers themselves.
Probably more than half. Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely. Actually, it's a pretty good price considering including the installation and the infrastructure with the charging stations.
Yeah, one location's about 2 locations each are about 13,000, and then I believe the courthouse was the easiest because we're going to put them on the wall inside, closest to my garage, and I think that was about 9. So the rest of it is chargers. There's a yearly fee because part of this grant is the state wants some data back. So these we're going to get the Blink chargers that collect the data, and that way we can help the state, prove their theories and give them some data on what the county's doing. That should help us in the future too when applying for the grants. They want as much feedback and information about these things when we start, so that they can keep improving also.
Thanks. Becca, did you have a question too?
Sure, I just wanted to make comment. Brian, could you give a brief explanation for those who aren't in the world of public works as to what the CoStars program is in the state?
CoStars is a cooperative purchasing program run through the state. It makes procurement a lot easier on our end, on the user end. Suppliers can go to the state. They apply to be on the contract. The state handles all of the paperwork. They pay a fee to be on there, and then they're listed on the state's website so that people like myself, people like Public Works who do purchasing, I don't have to call 80 different dealers in the state to get a price on, say, a vehicle. Or, if you're looking for, they have toilet paper on there. You're looking for toilet paper, there's probably 25 suppliers in 60 miles. They've done all the work of making this a contract, which makes the government end a lot more efficient. It's a lot less time we spend getting quotes.
Thanks.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brian?
Well, Brian, we've had a charger in a public charger in Haverford for like a year and a half, and one thing that was really hard in the beginning was the public, people just parking in the spot, totally ignoring the sign, and then we put a big fine spot, sign on it that was also ignored. But really, what ended up working is putting one of those little orange pylons in the spot, and then the EV person would just move it and park there, and then put it back. But that was quite a challenge to get the public to acknowledge the EV parking spot.
I've thought of that also, especially with where I want them in the courthouse. It's almost a prime parking spot. So, and I deal with that with assigned parking spots already. But really the places that I'm putting, there's really no public access other than the courthouse. And even the courthouse, you have to have a badge to get into the parking garage. And that's what I was saying also, is we're going to have some signage in the courthouse about the parking there. The second location is Fair Acres Geriatric Center. The public really isn't allowed onto that property, and where the chargers will be are kind of out of sight where any visitors would go. So really, they're not taking up a parking spot. They're actually out of the way, so nobody would park there. The third spot is in 69th Street. We have a secure lot behind 69th Street, behind some of the stores. We have a secure lot because we had a lot of our vehicles vandalized very often. So those chargers will be in the secure lot for the 35 vehicles that we have in Upper Darby. So I'm not worried about that yet. But yes, the plan is to make sure that the signage is prevalent so that people understand. And I'm sure, like everything, we're gonna have issues. I have to put cones outside on the street in between the garage doors of the courthouse garage, and that's X'd out with yellow, road paint, because people just park wherever they can around here. So I understand where and like I said, because I have to keep cones from, people from parking in an illegal spot. But I'm not worried about that yet until we branch out a little bit and start, like Councilwoman Schaefer was saying, start putting them, where the public can access them and things like that.
I want to add, in Radnor, we had a spot and we painted the entire spot green. So it was really obvious what it was, and it actually worked. People, when they're looking for a spot, they're like, oh, that's the green spot. I can't park there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Any other questions for Brian? Thanks for all that great information, Brian.
I said, I'm learning. So, there's a lot to learn about the alternative fuel vehicles.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now we're up to strategic planning update. And actually, we're not going to spend that much time on this because I was talking to Howard about this. So we did not send an email out after the last meeting because we wanted to make sure we did have a chief sustainability officer in place before we started having subcommittee meetings. But I do first want to say, just to confirm, are there any other people who want to be on either one of these committees? Because what we'll do is we will send out an email to you in the next couple of days with next steps. And the next steps will include choosing a chair of your subcommittee and writing like a mission statement and goals. And we'll send you some details about how to create those goals, like in the email that we send. And we'll also make sure that we attach the information that actually we got earlier when we first started this, to make sure that the mission and the goals you have are in line with the county, essentially. And that at each of these commission meetings, you would bring an update. Like, you would actually send me a written report, or whoever turns out to be permanent chair, a report, and then you would report out, and that would be like reporting at each of our monthly meetings. So I hope you can see my screen okay. Is there anybody else that wants to be added to whatever committee? I want to make sure that's correct. Can anyone not see the names? Okay. Is there anyone who wants to be added to either one of these, either the Greening County Operations Subcommittee or the Creating a Countywide Sustainability Plan Committee?
Hey, Carol, this is Jenny. I'm just looking at the size of the two subcommittees. You can move me from the Planning Committee to the County Operations Committee. I know we talked about moving back and forth. I'd be happy to move over to kind of balance those out.
Okay. All right, I'll move it over. Okay. All right, any other comment if someone wants to like move or be added who isn't currently on this list? Okay, great. So you'll be getting an email in the next couple of days with next steps, and just again, you'll be figure out who is going to be the chair, what your mission statement is, and some goals. But we'll give you some more detail about, specifically what, like the goals, how to set them, and give you the information that was sent a while ago about like where Delaware County is going with it, and essentially your goals have to align obviously with the county goals. Okay.
Quick comment.
Sure.
And I don't think we need to discuss it now, but and maybe this will come up in the committees, like mission statement and goals. I just feel like, our mission is to serve and be part of what we identified as the vision statement for the Sustainability Commission. So I just was unclear as to why we need a separate mission statement as opposed to just outlining goals that continue to serve and feed into that vision statement. So, we could discuss this in the committees.
Sure. Yeah, that can be discussed within the subcommittees. And obviously we have an overall like vision and mission for the commission. But just because, it could just be outlined in your goals, it'll essentially like explain what the mission is. But that was originally like what Howard and I talked about. So, so next, and we're on time now actually, because like we didn't actually spend a ton of time on that. But anyway, now this is going to be an interesting part. We are going to be talking about our website. So I'm going to be calling up our website and also calling up two other websites that were brought up as really good examples of maybe what we should have on our website. So I'm going to bring those up now, and we can start, we can start like taking a look at these. So this is currently our website. We have a meeting calendar, agendas and minutes. Then we have the people, positions open, open records request. And then we have just an explanation of what the Sustainability Commission is, who the people are on it. And then we have a place for people to go to contact. But this was actually for applying for it, so it's kind of old. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that wasn't it. Okay, this is it. Essentially, like it says like what our basic charge is. Of course, it doesn't have our mission statement that we came up with together. Is this the homepage? Yeah, it is a homepage. And then it has, it has meeting schedules, agendas, and minutes, and it lists us as the board members. So let's look at the two examples. One of them is for the city of Ann Arbor, and I guess what you can see immediately is that like it has different colors. I don't know if those are actually colors in relation to the city of Ann Arbor or not, but it's colorful. It has some really neat icons. So if someone wants to learn about electric vehicles, they just click here. Solar, click here. It's just really, really easy to get around. And then as we move forward, maybe we could have like a newsletter. There's a newsletter here. And then again, green businesses, climate resilience, water, air, natural features, sustainable resource use. So I think this website is just really, really user friendly. And then the other one is King County. Again, it has color, it has some green in it. It has the main point of the sustainability group in King County. And again, it doesn't have icons, but it has like these really great thumbnails where you can immediately see where you want to go. Community engagement, equity and social justice. I know that came up a lot when we were doing our strategic planning. Clean water investments, and then it has just a bit of education here about what is sustainability and some other additional resources. I did not click on the video, so I don't know what that is showing. How we practice sustainability and environmental protection during construction, which is just like really neat. And then I guess over here it has some other sustainability like graphics and things. So anyway, so like again, so this is ours, and we could have some buttons for things too, but I'm going to take some notes about like some of your thoughts on, you know, what should be on our website, what content should be on our website, like what additional content should be on our website. And so feel free to just speak, and I know, Sean, you'll be taking notes too, but I figured I'd take some notes too, just so I have an idea too of what everyone wants.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, we can compare notes.
Carol, I know I'm not officially here yet, but from my experience, it's difficult to populate a website without having the plan first. So I just want to use some caution with trying to populate a website without first having all of the focus areas together and the actions and the resources. It might be challenging to do that. So with Green Futures, the school district's sustainability plan, we first came up with our mission statement like you guys have begun, then developed specific focus areas, and then each of those focus areas had their own goals, targets, and action items. And then for each one of those, you can put in many resources. So I just wanted to caution you with trying to be too ambitious right now in developing a website without that content first.
Sure. And I think the point was that we should start thinking about it now, just so like we have an idea of what we want to do. There's probably some things we can put on the website to enhance the current website without having it as detailed as these, like, because these are like really idea. Yeah. So
yeah. So one thing I'd like to point out about the websites, and Francine, I think you're exactly right. Because basically the website is going to reflect what the plan is, and actually you can see it if you dive into the A20 plan that's referenced here on this one website. It's a very detailed. It's a 135-page PDF, and it's a very detailed action plan. But the sections of that plan are reflected here in the components of their website. But what I think we do want to look at is this was obviously designed with some very professional design help, and it really pops. And I think that at this point, one of the things that we ought to think about is, you know, getting a web design concept for our site, which we will then populate as we develop more content. But get a design concept down sooner rather than later, because that's really all we can do now. We don't have much content.
Yeah, we're still like an infant, and these are teenagers, if not adults. So in terms of like age of their, you know, sustainability groups. So although Delaware County is doing a lot and has done a lot, but in terms of like, you know, having the plan, right, the content, I mean, it's good that we're having this conversation about content and, you know, what we'd like in it, so that we have our sights on it. Anybody else have any?
Carol, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, so obviously we would have to hire someone, or what is the plan in terms of updating this website, something done by the county or external?
I would imagine, I don't want to like answer obviously for Howard or for anyone, but this will obviously, like what David said, this looks professionally done. Like, I don't think this is something that we can whip together. Like this, I think we would have to hire someone to do this. However, content would be driven by us. So we should have an idea of what kinds of things we like about these sites, just to keep them on our radar and figure out, well, yeah, those are the things we'd like. But I would imagine it would involve hiring someone, but I don't want to.
It would be good to know that, just because to things that we like, if it is being done internally, we may not be able to get. And so, you know, if we had some guidance on that.
Sure. I guess it's hard to figure out it. Like, we may say, oh, we want A, B, C, D, E, but if we don't know if there's any future budget allocation for website, and if we're not getting it, then it may, yeah. So I understand what you're saying in that regard.
Yeah,
So
it can dramatically change what we want and then kind of have to revisit it. I mean, ideally, yes, I love the idea of tabs. And if our audience are going to include homeowners, you know, municipalities and businesses, then having 3 different tabs potentially could be really worthwhile. Assuming we go through all that and have that as part of our strategic plan for different things that we're going to pursue, information-wise, program-wise, et cetera. So, I mean, it can be, you know, much more complex website than typically what the county has, and something that could stand alone, separate from the county page, or at least as a link in the county page to a separate site.
right, because that actually makes me wonder if maybe the county itself has thoughts on revamping their website. I don't know if that's true or not, but if they were, then that would be an opportunity to enhance and create like something great for sustainability. Or like you said, it would be a link to something that's just for sustainability. So I understand the context of all this is important too, whether or not we can in fact hire someone to do this, and also like what's going on with the rest of the Delaware County website too.
I would argue that failing to hire someone to do the professional job will undermine our results. And, you know, that the cost, and I would imagine it'd be relatively modest, the cost to have somebody do that would be well worth it. So I would certainly be prepared to argue that in front of council.
Sure.
And also, I know that last time we met, Elaine mentioned us having the ability to hire consultants for, you know, to support our
That's
efforts.
right.
So
She did, yeah.
have to think that this would be something that falls in that category.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just going to pipe in here. For sure, this one I envision, you know, this being a legitimate expense of this committee. I will say the county website right now is pretty, you know, bare bones. You know, it's free right now to have a page on the website with limited information. You know, we could do links and have things like that. But as you progress with your plan and there's more content to put on, I would envision it being a separate website with a link. I don't think that our website really has the capacity to do, and there's no reason to be limited to that. But for the here and now, for the next 2-3 months, as you're developing, as you're starting to put the plan together, there is the county website available to you to put minimal information and, you know, as you're starting to plan.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. That was helpful. Okay, so anybody else have any
I was just going to say, even without kind of knowing what the design is going to end up being, I think we can start thinking about who would be visiting this website and what types of information they would want to know, because it can be beautiful, but if it's not organized to be responsive to the people that are visiting the website, and if the information desired by the people visiting the website isn't there, it's not going to be that useful. So I think we can do some kind of a stakeholder analysis loosely, you know, who would be using this website, what types of things would they want to know, and then you know, drive our design to make that as easy as possible and informative as possible when we do kind of settle on that, the front end, the design elements.
Right. You bring up a really, really great question, Jenny, because like right now, like we're at such an infant stage. Like I'm wondering, I don't know if you have any thought, Elaine, about have we had any general inquiries about sustainability and who have they been? What are we asked? I don't know if there's any other avenue that people in the county have been asking questions. Is there any information at all about that kind of a thing?
Well, I would say no, just because we've never had this. We've never had anything close to this.
Right.
So this is a new concept. This is a new group. This is, you know, again, to go back to what Francine said, the plan will drive what we're offering to residents. So if we, you know, out of that plan comes the recommendation to do a big solar program, you know, that's going to drive people who are interested, you know, to come to this site and learn more about what the county can do for them to get solar on their roof or whatever. So I do think that the plan you come up with is going to drive, and the programs that come through this commission are going to drive who wants to participate, and, you know, what
Right.
stakeholders are interested.
Right. And Lansdowne has a draft clean energy transition plan, and we're in the process now of getting like some public input. So that's informing us about what people are interested in. So once we do have our plan, at least in a draft format, where we at the point where we start engaging the public, I guess then, Jenny, we would be informed about like not just the content, but what people are interested in. So that will probably help also inform us about like what's actually on the website. So let me share my-
I think we have to do something and create something and then put it on the website where.
Exactly. And it seems like that's pretty much what we're all talking about. So
But the question about the audience is a really good one.
yes,
Like
it is.
the
Yeah.
Ann Arbor, you can see they're targeting businesses and residences, and I hope we could have resources like this for municipalities as well, school districts, so they can keep in sync with what we're doing and communicate that way. If there are programs or anything that would be relevant for them, that they could, and also it'd be nice if they could kind of share or I mean steal, or you know, if we could share content for municipal websites, you know, for any of these little pieces, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Hi, this is Becca from Bethel. I think I can provide some insight on this. So I run Bethel's website, and I kind of had the perspective of I am the one that runs the phones. So I constantly am hearing from residents. I think in general, they're often looking for the most basic things of, here is this item, where can I recycle it? Or how do I get rid of this? Or things like that. But then conversely, on a municipal level, I know that we're always looking for alternative ways to cut costs or find better vendors, or again, those small things of what requirements do we even have for recycling or solar or items like that. That would be incredibly helpful as well.
Are those currently things that we have on somewhere else on the website about recycling? And where to throw things out? Like, is there anything right now? I don't know the Delaware County like website well enough to know that, but.
Solid Waste Authority does have.
A fewsteps.org has a recycling, where to recycle what. I'll put in a plug there, but it sounds to me as though what we're saying is, at least as far as municipalities and school districts are concerned, that we need to view them as both users of the site in terms of offering them whatever county assistance and knowledge there is, and content creators for the site by way of links to their own sites. Here's what we're doing in our school district, you know, and they put it on our website by way of a link, and at the same time we provide them information that helps them do those things.
Okay. Becca, did you want to say something else? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, sure. I completely agree with David there. I think a lot of the time as a municipality, you have not a lot of knowledge on some of the things you're tasked with. And the first thing that we'll typically do is, what are our neighbors doing? What are the other municipalities doing? So even, for example, if it was a repository of, here are the links to all the municipalities that have solar ordinances, or even if we had a model solar ordinance from a county perspective, it would make it so much easier rather than having to go to 49 individual websites to find that, or kind of have that repository of, hey, I have an environmental question. How can we be more sustainable? The first thought should be, oh, I can go to the sustainability committee's website.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Ed, did you want to say something? I thought I heard you say something.
Well, we did some of this with websites, like the Conservation District. We have our own website that links to the county website. And we even have one for the Resource Conservation and Development Council. And we had that set up professionally. The problem is now I have it, and we had to get rid of our consultant because they wanted to keep billing us for every little thing. And it wasn't sustainable. So that's the problem with having a consultant do the work. So unless we have someone on staff that can actually manipulate whatever the consultant developed and maintain it in-house, then it's a cost that I don't know that's worth the squeeze. But
yeah, I know an organization that did hire a website creator, and they made it really simple for like how to update it, so it wasn't a continuous charge. So hopefully whoever we would hire for that would make updates really simple, that we could just do updates and it wouldn't be like, you know, something they would still want to continuously get paid for.
yeah, we got the bills all the time from the on the RC&D. It was a federally program that at the time that we were funded by, and it was all set up that way, and the bills just kept coming.
Oh gosh.
I just want to say that I just posted in the chat the link to our current recycling page. And if you click on it, you'll see what I mean when I say we have pretty bare bones delivery of information on our website. You know, the information's there, but it's often hard to get to, and it's, you know, it's pretty bare bones. And that's what we have available to us, that type of information sharing at this point.
Okay, so I pulled that up. Okay, all right, thank you. That's good to know. All right, does anyone else have any other thoughts about this that you want to share?
One other comment, I mean, we're all washing information. It'd be nice if there could be a little panel or something to share success stories. You know, Haverford is going forward with $500,000 of solar this year and $500,000 for next year, and just have that, you know, out there so people know what, you know, who's taking charge, who's doing what, these 15 vehicles that we just discussed, you know, maybe a little video or something that would be kind of cool, so that people would know that they're not being first and their neighbors are doing it. And just something like that beyond straight delivery of information, but highlighting, you know, leadership or success that, you know, we're within this group or at the local level would be really cool too, I think, and drive traffic.
I think that's a good idea because to Becca's point, there may be a municipality in Delco that doesn't understand what other municipalities are doing in Delco. And if we like have a place where we have that news and we're celebrating it, then we can share information that way. So that's a thought too. Any other thoughts on website? Well, we're recording it, and then we do have to get some more information back to like move forward, and also obviously get more content. But does anyone else have any other comments on? Oh, Laura?
I don't disagree with the concept of promoting, especially where the county is making effort, from the vehicles and making sure that's promoted. I think that's probably a good thing. But in terms of the municipalities not knowing each other, there actually is a vehicle for that. It's called the Delaware County COG, and all of the municipal managers participate in that. So Becca might be able to speak to whether or not they've actually had focus groups on greening, but they cover a wide range of topics in meetings held regularly throughout the year.
What was the name of the group again, Laura?
Delaware County COG, it stands for Council of Governments.
Oh.
I can speak to that, sure. So like Laura said, we do meet every month. I will say there has not been a focus on greening in the past. However, as an active participant in that group, I always try to update them on what this group is doing to begin with. So if that's something that we would like to do moving forward of having a platform, I would be more than happy to kind of put that out there each month to say, hey, is anybody doing anything? Or has anyone received grants or anything like that, and report back to you guys as well in that concept.
I think that would be fabulous. I don't know about the rest of you, but like I think that would be like really, really useful. What do you think?
I honestly think that maybe after Francine is allowed to sort of get her heels dug in, maybe what we do is offer to the leader of the COGS that Francine presents to their group. So they're hitting the 49 municipalities. If you're agreeable with that, Francine, I can initiate that for you today.
That would be lovely, Laura. Thank you. Yes.
George Needles from Upper Chai is the chair for this year, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm aware. George, Amanda, and David.
Awesome.
So kind of going forward, do we feel like it'd be a good idea to kind of not put this in the parking lot, but just kind of set it off to the side, keep track, and just have a constant like idea dump of things that we all think of, and especially as our subcommittees kind of mature a little bit and we finally get some goals and start taking some actions, maybe then we can start taking all the ideas and the things that we're working on and then kind of fold that into a website instead of just making sure we don't get ahead of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great idea. And then obviously, like when you create the minutes for this, like when we can compare notes too, we can make sure we have that in the meeting minutes about everything that we discussed. So then we can like circle back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'll share my screen again. Next item is the new CSO. So Francine, now I guess it's the official welcome. Would you like to chat with us or?
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. I am really, really excited and very honored to serve with you and to serve Delaware County. I appreciate the beginning of this meeting, Carol, when you asked folks thank you for that. My county email should be lockf@county. I've got it. Thank you. But I appreciated the beginning of this meeting, Carol, when you went around. I did want to ask folks, what are you bringing to the commission? I'm just wondering, what would you like to focus on? I know you probably have had these conversations in the past, but I would like to get to know each of you a little more and to understand where you want your expertise or your experience to go. But it sounds like you guys have already really thought about that with the two committees that I saw, or the subcommittees. So I think I want to dive in a little bit too much right this second. I'm just going to enjoy this meeting today and listening to you guys. And my start date is the 25th. So that's when I guess I could really dive in more. But I just want to learn more about all of you and get to know you, because we'll be working very closely together on developing this plan. So it's kind of, I want to have a relationship building time with you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the notes. Thank you for the notes, guys.
And I know we'll be getting to know each other better as we continue to work with you. And I'm so excited that you're on board. So let's see. Let me share my screen again. Commissions work. You know, it's kind of funny. I didn't have another section here for public comment. It's not until the very end. Should I ask now if there's any public comment?
You can wait till the end.
I can. Okay.
Yeah.
Commission's work plan going forward. I think we developed, when we discussed it earlier under part 4, about where the subcommittees will be moving forward with their work. And we had a great conversation just now about the website. As far as I can see, let me know if you have any thoughts on this, but I think we pretty much touched on at least how we're moving forward. Was there anything else regarding our work plan going forward that you would want to discuss today? Oh, Francine, do you want to, just for anyone who was not at the last meeting, do you just want to introduce yourself and a little bit?
Absolutely. So I am coming from the school district of Philadelphia. I have been with the district for 15.5 years. Prior to that, I worked for the city of Philadelphia's risk management, but my role with the school district started out as environmental director, focusing on regulatory compliance. That blossomed later into having the opportunity to work on a sustainability plan for the school district. Our district has over 300 buildings in Philadelphia, nearly 200,000 students, about 15,000 staff members. And so it's a bit like a small city in its own right. You know, the school district of Philadelphia is the second largest landowner in Philadelphia. And so my background is I have a bachelor's degree in biology, a master's degree in environmental health. Stephanie, I think you said that you're an epidemiologist and your focus is environmental health. I was really interested in hearing that. I'm actually working on my doctorate right now at Drexel. Hi, Howard. This is my moment to shine. So I'm bringing my experience with me in terms of building a sustainability plan for a large school district. And that was built from the ground up. And so we had dozens of stakeholders that we worked with. And we came to a point where we had 5 focus areas: energy and efficiencies, consumption and waste, school greenscapes, and healthy schools, meaning buildings and nutrition and active transport. So I could go into many details about the sustainability plan that we developed over a 2-year period. It took many meetings. The mission statement was the first step. So when I first saw the commission, it was, you guys were discussing your mission statement. And so I remembered going through that process myself. And as you dive deeper into each, I called it focus areas, with a subcommittee for each, that's when you can really dive into the specific targets and then the action items leading up to them. All right. But yeah, so this is my background and I'm really looking forward to getting started here. Yeah, that's it.
And you are a full-time position? Someone asked that.
Yes, I am.
Yes, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to be sure.
Correct.
All right, so let me share my screen again. So like we're on the commission's work plan going forward. So as we discussed, we talked quite a bit about the plan moving forward with regard to the subcommittees. We also talked about the website. So I think we pretty much like talked about our work for going forward. Was there anything that anyone wanted to mention in this
Carol,
regard?
Ed McGargy.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that we are live on YouTube channel, on the county's YouTube channel. And fortunately, there's no chat going on about us. So there's only 2 people watching, but it is on there going live right as we speak. I know we had touched on that last meeting.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Carol, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So for the subcommittees, are we planning on like breaking into subcommittees each meeting, or are there going to be separate meetings, or how are you?
Yeah, the plan is that they're separate meetings because as long as you're not, because the idea is that you have your meeting separate from this meeting, and then you come to the next commission meeting to share a report. And of course, any decisions will be made within the commission, not like in the subcommittee group. So yes, you would be meeting separately and then bringing your report back to this main meeting so you can update all of us, and anything that needs a decision would happen in the commission meeting. Any other questions or thoughts about our work plan going forward? This will evolve, like we're still like in the beginning stages, but this will evolve.
A question about the second group, this is the plan committee. What is the time frame for that? I mean, do we imagine 10 years, 3, or what?
I would have to go back. I don't know if anyone knows off the top of their heads, but I would have to go back. That was going to be one of my tasks after this. Read over all of the initial information that was given to us, and it was a lot of information. There was a spreadsheet where everything was color coded with which items are of more immediate importance and such. So I know I can't answer that right now. I was going to like digest all of that. So I don't currently know. Howard, I don't know if you know all the information from that, but well, I know, we have a clean energy transition plan for Lansdowne, and that's looking ahead. Like we became, it was like a ready for 100 town where it's to go all electric by, I think it's like 2035 or something. So it's a long range plan. So it wouldn't be, from what I believe we would be working on, is it wouldn't be here, let me stop sharing for a second. It wouldn't be for a plan that's only like a year. I mean, it wouldn't be like that short. It would probably be longer ranged. I don't know if Howard, you wanted to say anything.
I was part of.
When you have your hand raised too, but Scott, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think Jacqueline was going to speak as well. As Jacqueline and I were both on the transition committee from after the election in 2019 until the swearing in of the new council members in 2020. There was a transition team, the same way Biden's having a transition right now. And so the spreadsheet that you're referring to, we created that over a span of like 4 to 6 weeks. And I believe it was Jacqueline's original idea to take the basis of the spreadsheet from another place in New Jersey or someone, and then those were all categories that the county government could focus on. And one of the key recommendations was that we create a sustainability committee, which is how this commission was established in the first place. So when we had our meeting back in November, where we kind of created our 2 subcommittees, that was the basis. That transition team was, and the work of the transition team was the basis of that document.
Okay, yeah, so I would imagine like we need to make sure we're digesting all of that.
Yeah, but it's not binding anyway. It was just recommendations to the new council members as to what they should do. And the first thing was to create a sustainability commission, so they did that. And now we're kind of starting over again with what we want to do and what we want to create.
I see.
What we want to have.
So I would, Jacqueline, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, thanks, Scott. Totally agree with everything you said, that it was over that time frame. And I would imagine that our goal would be within a couple of months, you know, in order to lay the foundation for what we want to do. So, you know, in my mind, trying to achieve something in 3 to 6 months with the goal of hopefully being on the sooner side.
Yeah.
So my understanding of how subcommittee groups would work is that that group would have their discussions, bring it back, and then we would have an opportunity to comment on, for example, what time frame they were thinking of. Like everyone who has a passion for that, who volunteered for that subcommittee, they would come to an agreement first and then bring it back to the commission, is how I would understand that it would work.
Well, I would think like a no later date, yes, but obviously if the subcommittee works faster, obviously that's beneficial, assuming the product's good.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, yes, that's true.
I have a question, Carol.
Sure.
The subcommittees, will there be other perhaps advisors or stakeholders that come into those subcommittees to help provide some guidance, maybe even resources to support the discussions? Or how does that work?
Right. From what I understand, it's just those people in that subcommittee group first, but once we get some traction and we actually do have some other people interested, and you know, for anything that we do, we will want to involve some key stakeholders, but like it's such in the infancy right now, it's kind of just to get something defined that we can wrap our arms around, because right now it's still just a nebulous thing that we don't know. So like once they start meeting and talking about it, then it will inform, you know, other stakeholders to involve, or, you know, resources and things like that. So I guess initially it would just be them meeting, but then the idea would also be that you in some way could also like be involved in like sit in on the meetings too, I believe. So
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would, you know, find, you know, figure out among themselves like who would be the chair, et cetera. But then, and that the whole point was like to have you, so you could actually also advise too. So, but I think initially it's just to get the ball rolling and just to have something to define them. Because right now there's not really anything.
Procedurally, you know, the subcommittees have a lot of leeway in what they want to do in terms of reaching out to experts and engaging other stakeholders. And I would encourage them to do that, to make sure that the concepts and the plans they bring back to the commission to consider are as well resourced as they feel comfortable, you know, doing. So the discussion on the recommendations should be done at the commission as a whole. But one of the reasons to empower subcommittees is to go out and do like arms and legs work and get well thought out plans put together, and to make sure that there are as many perspectives as possible included in the planning effort. So the commission as a whole has a lot of flexibility in how they define their subcommittees. The subcommittee leads, I think, should be given the maximum degree of freedom that they want to bring others in as well. It's, you know, at its heart, this is a community-based commission with the intent to put us on a sustainable path, both as an organization and countywide. I think the more input there, the better. And if the subcommittees want to go out and get other opinions, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, just as a quick example, so the Environmental Advisory Council of Lansdowne, like I said, we have a clean energy transition plan, but it's like a subcommittee that is putting in all of the work, and then they bring it back to the overall Environmental Advisory Council to get feedback. And we're also consulting with borough council members to see who should we be engaging, like what other experts should we be talking to. So I imagine it may be similar, that like we are given the power as a subcommittee to do those things. So I'd imagine it's the same thing as Howard referenced. So so I'll share the screen again. Next is the co-chairs of the commission. I know that we talked about there seemed to be interest, I guess, maybe from a couple of people about when are we going to have like permanent chairs and permanent positions. I'm not exactly sure of like the process to go through all of that. I'm not sure if Howard, you have a thought on that. I know.
At some point, you'll have to put the election of the chair, and the chair is on the agenda for vote. I think it's really up to the commission when you want to do it.
So maybe next month or something. I think the main point was we were, I guess, waiting for some other positions to be filled, but I think he said it was okay. So maybe for the next month we can put it on the agenda.
Yeah, what we talked about, Carol, is the only position that's not filled permanently is the facilities director, which is on the commission. But we can have Mr. Orner as the interim. He can serve that purpose while we go through the recruitment of a permanent facilities director, whether it's ultimately him or someone else.
Okay. So we'll address that at our next meeting.
In between now and then, I mean, would it be appropriate to ask anyone that is interested in one of the positions to let you know, Carol, or let Howard know, or let someone know, like start having people express their interests so that the next meeting we can have that vote? Would that make sense at this point?
I think so. What do you think, Howard?
I think as of a week from Monday, you can let Francine know what's going to go on the agenda. But yeah, it's what it's what you feel comfortable with. You're a new group, trying to figure out how to mesh. If you feel comfortable having the vote next month, then that's really up to you. Right. I don't know what's in the bylaws in terms of the term of the chair. Is it a year?
Let me see. I had the bylaws open just a minute.
That's just something to think about. I don't know the name now. But
I thought it was a year.
That's good.
Year. We can revisit that before next meeting. Let's see. Oops, sorry.
But I would imagine that because certain seats are up in the fall next year, that this term would be shorter.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, so I guess if anyone like does have an interest after, was it the 23rd when Francine starts, I guess you can let her know and let me know, and then we can like put it on the agenda for our next meeting. And so I think it's that we are, it's not just the co-chairs, but I believe like vice chair and secretary too. I think right now we're all interim, I believe so. It would be like all those terms, all those positions. All right, so now for other business. Is there any other business that anyone wanted to bring up?
I had a quick question for Howard. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean. No, you're all right. Go ahead.
Howard, during the last meeting, you said that council approved the level 2 audits for county facilities. Do you have any idea on the timing of when those are going to start and when the reports are supposed to be completed?
I don't. I can find out.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Becca?
Sure. So I know I talked briefly about recycling earlier, but just some things that are going on in municipal government that I wanted to make you guys aware of. So in recycling, if you guys follow that at all, in 2018, China stopped accepting a lot of the United States recycling. And when that occurred, municipalities saw a huge spike in costs for recycling. I know in Bethel Township in particular, we saw our fee or our costs almost triple over that time period. And in the state of Pennsylvania, if you have less than 10,000 residents, you are not legally required to recycle. This is very important, as we actually just saw earlier this week, Morton Borough had announced that they will be discontinuing their recycling program because they cannot keep up with the costs.
Wow.
So I think that as a more centralized group at a county level, I think it's something that should be in the back of our mind, as well as something that we try to move forward on is what can we do to either assist our municipalities in overcoming the burden of the recycling costs, or what can we do to offer residents of those boroughs or other townships, give them the opportunity to recycle as we see more municipalities dropping their recycling programs.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. Wow, Becca, thank you for sharing that. Okay.
It's a huge topic at probably all EACs, what she just mentioned. It eats up a lot of time, and I don't think there's any. It's too big for any small group to handle. And then your people are probably familiar with the Climate Collaborative, Greater Philadelphia, and it seemed like that launched a few years ago, and nothing really happened. But there is a new series, some trainings on municipal adopting EVs and stuff they're coming out with. But part of that Climate Collaborative was supposed to be tackling, solid waste issues that we're all facing. I don't know anything about that, if anybody else does, if that is something, a forum where, these big topics could be, maybe solved or something through that collaborative. Is that?
So you said the collaborative has trainings? Is that what you said?
It has some trainings. They started a few years ago, and the mayor launched it with a lot of fanfare, and then nothing really happened. And organizations, municipalities, and companies can join, but nothing really happened until fairly recently. There was something on food waste they had, and then they have two series in February, 2 trainings for electric vehicle procurement. I'll put a link in. But
that's what I was thinking would be helpful if we had a link.
It seemed like that would be, that could be a kind of forum to address these big topics. And I do know that recycling and solid waste was on their radar, goal in the beginning, because I know Philly has even bigger headaches than we do out here. So,
yeah, I actually just had a meeting today with Zach Green and Katie Bartolo. She's from Green Building United, and Zach is from the city's Office of Sustainability, and they mentioned this Climate Collaborative event that's coming up about the electric vehicles. And so if I'm looking for the link myself, I actually just got it today.
I just posted it.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I was going to attend that myself, virtually, of course.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you guys know about that and that it's something that everybody's interested in. I'm glad to hear that.
It'd be nice if they are working on solid waste to, I know that's a
it's
big
been
deal.
A touchy situation in Philly too, because the recycling cost is definitely an issue. There has been political upheaval here in our neighborhoods because they've been combining the recyclables with the trash and taking them away. So there's been a lot of angry residents here. It's something that's a difficult challenge.
And it's a huge equity issue because they're burning it right down in, Chester.
And did you know that that facility in Chester is like the largest in the country for burning waste? The largest in the country, and Chester is like the most depressed area around here. It's just so much involved with social equity. It just needs to be addressed. It's just such a serious problem. So maybe we'll include that on next month's agenda too, that we talk about how to.
Yeah, it'd be
maybe-
nice if
yeah.
someone could represent this, this group there.
I'll do a little research on what's going on with the recycling too. I think Becca mentioned it. That was some good info. I'll just look into the industry a bit and figure out what we're seeing as a trend as well. I'll bring that as a little bit of research for the next meeting.
Perfect.
And it might be interesting to know what other municipalities are under that 10,000 threshold to see where there may be similar situations where the economics just aren't there for the smallest boroughs, and they choose not to do it, to kind of know what the universe of affected municipalities might be.
I can pull that data. I started to do a tally in the very beginning, but I couldn't click through all 49 fast enough. So I can pull that for you guys before the next meeting.
Oh, that'd be great, Becca. And I'll put that on the agenda for next month's meeting too, so you can report that out.
Yeah, I would remind the commission, if there are people you'd like to have come and present to you, or you'd like to talk to, just let Francine and me know, and we can try and arrange that. The Solid Waste Authority is separate right now from the formal count, from my part of the world, but we can certainly ask that they come as well. So, I mean, if there's anyone that in any issue the commission wants to come speak to, don't hesitate to ask, and we'll try and make that happen.
And that would be great. Like we could put it in the agenda and have them as a guest or something. That would be really neat. I see that people are putting some great things into the chat. Okay, neat. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay.
I have a quick question about the chat. Is that something that we can? I know I don't know how it works with a webinar and with a live recording. If there's a way to capture that chat and include it with the minutes.
Oh, thank you. I was kind of just thinking that because, like, for one of the files I couldn't open, and I was thinking that would be good. Do you know, like, Sean, do you know, like, when you review a recording, do you see that when you see the recording?
I just found it because that's why I accidentally I put the meeting minutes and the meeting agenda into the chat for everyone. I was trying to figure out how to save it, but along the bottom of the chat window, next to where it says file, you've got a button with 3 dots, and it says save chat. Now, where it saves it, I have no idea, but it saves it somewhere.
All right. Well, yeah, I just clicked that, so it's saved somewhere also that I don't know. But Sean, are you aware of, like, when you go back to the recordings, if you can see them?
No. Unfortunately, the links aren't live in the recording. But what I'm going to do is, before I close out, I've opened these in separate windows. So I'm just going to cut and paste these links in the meeting minutes, and they'll be active links. So we can just click on them.
Okay. So I guess, like, before we disconnect, I took a lot of notes today.
That's good, Carol. You need to share.
I will. Oh yeah. So I guess is John Beck? Is he still connected here? Oh yeah, he is. John, just make sure you don't close out the whole session until, like, Sean gets what he needs from the chat and stuff.
Okay, I'll leave it open.
Thank you.
Will we have access to a Zoom account so that we can have a committee meeting on Zoom?
Good question. Oh my gosh, good question. John, is that possible, or?
Yeah, if you give me one person who wants to set up the meetings, I'll create them an account.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, John?
Yeah, if you want to have one person be the lead person to set up these committee meetings, I can create them an account.
I think, John, actually, there's county employees on both committees that could probably take the lead and offer either Teams or Zoom for both, correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Francine's going to be on both committees, so maybe she could kind of have the ownership of the meeting.
That works for me.
Sure. If you want to email me, Francine, we can work it out, the details.
All right.
Great.
Can you give me your email, John, in the chat?
Sure.
Great.
And Francine, would you share your email with us all as well?
Well,
I don't have an
Is that
official
allowed?
county email yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
using-
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you do. Francine, you do.
I do, John?
Yeah, I created that account for you. I know
Can you
do.
share it? Can you share it? I can't access it yet that I'm aware of.
They should have gave you directions to. I can.
Ooh.
I'll send you.
All right. Do you have my Gmail account, John?
No, put that in the chat and I'll send it.
I will do so. All right. And then I should be able to move forward.
So can we schedule committee meetings for the week that Francine starts? Does that make sense to do right now?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Does everyone have their calendars available? Like I can bring up who they are here.
Or should we
I
do,
mean,
or should we do that by,
knowing-
or should we do that by email? I guess we can do.
I think through email, just because I think those of us who have busy schedules, I think probably through email. So like probably later today, I'll send an email to each of the subgroups. So then you'll have everyone's email addresses and you can just go and set up your subcommittee meetings.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, and then Francine's address is in the chat. So next is other business. Is there any other business anyone wanted to bring up today?
Can I just share the transition team document for a moment?
Sure.
Because it gives a little bit of a blueprint. I think we're really struggling to figure out a direction, and I think it gives a little bit of a blueprint.
Sure, yeah.
So let's see.
You know, Scott, I remember that from the first meeting, and it really is a well-done document. Maybe what we should do is send that out with the committee meeting notices.
Yes, in fact, that was my plan. But Scott, if you want to explain anything about it, you can share it. But that was my plan.
Okay, well, so this is the transition subcommittee.
Oh, did you share it?
Oh, is it not being seen yet? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, here, I have this button here. Okay, did you see it now?
Yeah, we see a bunch of documents on the screen, but yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Then let's do. That's what I want to show. Is that so now?
We see a Word document, executive summary. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's executive summary. So the recommendations were create a sustainability committee. That was number one. Develop a sustainability plan, which is one of the subcommittees.
Scott, can you increase the magnification of that? Zoom a little bit.
Yeah. I hope that's a little better. So develop a sustainability plan, and that's coming, and then pass some laws, and then conduct an energy assessment of. All right, I think it's better if we just share it. I'm not helping by sharing this.
Yeah, my plan was to send that out with the notices to each of the subcommittees. So
yeah, but if
everyone will get that.
So that's the executive summary, and then there's an Excel spreadsheet that goes with it. So that's a good framework to get the work started. And Francine, that's a good thing for you to hit the ground running with in terms of ideas that someone came up with already.
Thank you,
Francine, what email should I be using for you when I send these out?
If you don't mind, use my Google account and the Delco account, just so I make sure I get it now, because I need to check to make sure I can access. John said that he sent me some instructions.
Okay.
But do you have my Google account? If not, I will send it to you now.
Can you send it to me now?
Sure.
Let's see, we'll go back to the agenda. We're just on other business now. Is there any other business anyone wanted to bring up?
Carol, this is Linda Hill from the County Planning Department. I just wanted to share some information and let folks know that the region's municipal planning organization, it's the DVRPC, they just announced the availability of new funding. It's designed to reduce the number of single occupancy vehicles on the road. Projects can be capital, like a building or bike racks or something like that. It could be operational. something similar to a carpool program, or it could be marketing and education. And the eligible applicants are nonprofit organizations, county and local governments, and also for-profit organizations. Minimum grant amount is $50,000 and the maximum is $500,000. We have some information about that on the County Planning Department website, but I can also put the link directly into the chat here so that folks can know. They always have a very short application period turnaround. I believe the applications will open February 22nd and then close on March 19th at 5 p.m. So I just wanted to put that information out there in case we have any local governments or nonprofit or for-profit organizations. And this is a new program, so it will be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, please send it in the chat, please. Yeah,
I will. The County Planning Department has let our municipal governments know about that.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I did it correctly. There it is. Thank you.
Oh, the travel options program, Moving Better Together?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing. That's neat. All right. So any other new business before we adjourn? Okay. It's actually not before we adjourn. Oh, you know what? Elaine was checking public comment. Can anyone else check public comment? That's the next thing on the agenda.
There's nothing on the live chat, so just that's the only thing I can say.
Oh, can anyone else check the email address that Elaine typically checks? I should have thought of that before she left. Anybody else have access to that account? It's this one up here, public comment at co.delaware.pa.us. Well, I guess the best we can do is through the live YouTube, and there isn't any comment, so, okay. But I'll just circle back with Elaine just to ask her to check that later on anyway. Okay, so with that, if nothing else we need to discuss or anything else you want to bring up, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn today.
I move we adjourn.
And that was Scott?
Yes.
Okay. Would someone like to second that? Jenny?
Yes.
Okay, Jenny. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, great. Our meeting is adjourned today. The subgroups will be getting an email later on today, and I look forward to seeing you next month and working with you on the subgroups, because I'm on one of the subgroups. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Weekend.
Happy New Year. Bye.